Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, A Magical Life with Ayla Hillel. I'm Ayla. So today we're going to talk about some actual things to raise our vibration so that we come into more powerful magic. So let's get started. So, you know, because I've told you that this channel is about the vibration of magic, the energy and vibration. So we've talked a lot about, raising your vibration so that you come into a place of powerful magic. So in the next two videos, this one and the next one, I'm going to pinpoint some stuff. I have made notes, and I'm going to put these notes in the description down below from this video. So if you go to the right, you see the little arrow pointing down, you click on that, it opens a field up, and you're going to see, so you can follow along with this video. Okay, so let's get started. So there are so many factors that will bring a person into a high vibrational state of magic. Sometimes it's overwhelming, the factors that are involved in this endeavor. So this video and the next video, we're going to really be talking about some specific stuff. So the first thing I want to talk about is, have you ever heard of this man, Abraham Maslow? He was a psychologist back in the 40s and 50s and 60s, I believe, roughly around that area. When he was about 40 years old, he had a heart attack. And when he came out of the heart attack, he really had a new belief in humankind. He really believed in the potential of people and really set out to help people understand their truest selves, I guess is a good way to put it. So he put together something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And this starts at the bottom. There's going to be two documents, in one in this video and one in the next video, that start at the bottom and point up. And you go up from there. It's kind of a ladder. So the first thing on Maslow's hierarchy of needs is your physiological and your biological needs. Now I'm going to read you what they have here. These include the most basic needs that are vital to survival, including the need for water, air, food, and sleep. Maslow believed that these needs are the most basic and instinctive needs in the hierarchy because all needs become secondary until the physiological and the biological needs are met. Okay, so you need to have shelter, you need to have food, you need to have clean air and clean water, and these are considered very, very basic. Your vibration is going to suffer if you are homeless, if you need food or water. How can you even think of going any farther until these needs are met? Okay. Now, I happen to believe that we can use our magic to create these things. We can use our magic to create a place to live. We can use our magic to figure out a way to get some air and some clean water, some clean air and some clean water. Figure out a way. We can use our magic to help us figure out a way to get some food. So I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying that I know at times in my life when these things were at a minimum. They were very limited for me. I wasn't thinking much past those things. So, yes, you can use your magic to create these situations, to bring this stuff about for you. It's very difficult. Okay. So the next one is security needs. These include needs for safety and security. Security needs are important for survival, but they are not as demanding as the biological and the physiological needs are, the ones we just talked about. Examples of security needs include a desire for steady employment, health insurance, safe neighborhoods, and shelter from the environment. Okay, and to that I would like to include that if you're an environment, if you are a man or a woman in an environment and you are being abused, that becomes a safety issue. There again, you can use your magic to get you out of that place, but that needs to be a number one concern, is getting out of a place where you are being abused. Okay. All right. Number 3, social needs. Now, so all of our basic needs have been met. We have food and shelter and water, and we're safe. So now we're coming into social needs. These include needs for belonging, love, and affection. Do you have to have a relationship to survive on this planet? You don't. I know people who don't. But I'm going to tell you what, there's something very important. I almost said mandatory, because if you visit with these people who have gone almost their entire life without having a relationship, and I mean, when I say relationship, I mean not just romantic relationships. If you have no children, you don't have a spouse, you don't have family, that is really, really difficult. And I think I think we suffer mentally and emotionally. I think we suffer without those relationships. So let me finish reading that. Relationships such as friendships, romantic attachments, and family help fulfill this need for companionship and acceptance, as does involvement in social, community, and religious groups. Okay, so before I was a pagan, I practiced Judaism. And before I practiced Judaism for 20 years, I was a Christian. For 15 years, I practiced Judaism, and I have been on this path almost 21 years now in paganism. And always, always, always a big theme is gathering. Call it church, call it synagogue, call it getting naked and dancing in the forest, call it whatever you want to call it. But gather with your brothers and your sisters is a big deal. Because if you have no other relationships besides, let's say, a spiritual or a religious community, that is going to fill a very big gap. Okay, you're going to make friends out of that group. You are going to make other relationships out of that group. A lot of the people in my group, I consider them my brothers and sisters. I love them. I love them like I love my family. So this is very important, the social end of it. The next level up on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and let me just show you this. It's a triangle, okay? And we started at the bottom with the basic needs, such as food and shelter and water. As you can see, the next step was the security. The next step up was the social end of it, okay? So our social needs. And then number 4, esteem needs, okay? After the first 3 needs have been satisfied. So even when we get into security and social, those are considered basic needs. Relationships with other people is considered very basic. Then we come into the esteem needs. After the first 3 needs have been satisfied, esteem needs become increasingly important. These include the need for things that reflect self-esteem, personal growth, social recognition, and accomplishment. So at this point, a person may decide to go to school, may choose a career path. These are the things that we do for ourselves, for recognition of self. Okay, so then the top one, so we're at the top right here, right right there. Okay, so at the very top, we have self-actualization. I'm going to read you what it says here, and then I'm going to tell you what I think about self-actualization. This is the highest level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Self-actualizing people are self-aware, concerned with personal growth, less concerned with the opinions of others, and interested in fulfilling their potential. This is where magic becomes very powerful. So one of the things they said was less concerned with the opinions of others. People at the top don't care what other people think. Very highly magical people don't care what other people think. We don't set out to hurt people, but if somebody has some unsolicited opinion about me, I couldn't care less. Okay, and interested in fulfilling their potential. Okay, so at that point, when I reached that top level, I wanted to know what I could do for the world. What was the fullest potential of my magic? What could I do in my life to help myself and to help others? Okay, so that's the first thing that I want to talk about, is the hierarchy of needs, because this is very, very important. And I'm trying to decide, I have 4 concepts that are going to be in these next 2 lessons. So I'm trying to decide, okay, so let's talk about this little document that I created, let's see, in 2012. So I wrote this down in 2012. This is called the evolutionary ladder, or the evolutionary process. And again, this is going to be pinned down in the description below this video. Not the comments, but the description. Okay, so with this document, you want to start at the very bottom. Now scroll down and look at the very bottom where it says awakening. Okay, you want to start with awakening. So now, this is the process that we go through as we are actualizing that very top level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. All of this is the very top. Okay. And, atheists and agnostics, I love you. I love you so much. Be the best atheist and agnostic you can be. But I'm not really talking to y'all. This is spiritual concept. This is, you can be atheist and agnostic, not the way I teach it, but generally you can be atheist or agnostic and practice magic. My magic is tied up with my spiritual relationships. So the way I teach it, they're kind of intertwined. This is one of those things. So the very first thing, if you scroll down, you see the word awakening. The first thing that happened to you on your journey to actualization, self-actualization, is you had an awakening moment. The realization that there is something. There is something greater than us out there in that universe. There is some divine intelligence that created all of this, and created all of it with the utmost amount of brilliance. Okay, so we wake up to that idea that there is something. We want to connect to that. Whatever that thing is, we want to connect to it. I call it spirit. I used to call it God, and to me, God meant all of it, all of the universe, the creative source energy, all the gods and goddesses, angels, dragons, fairies, and guides, all the people, everything. And then I got a pen thrown at me in magic school by a woman who was angry. She called me a monotheist. I am not a monotheist just because I believe in God. I believe in all of it. Okay, so this awakening brought me into wanting to connect, wanting to know the truth about God. Okay, so let's talk about what is the truth about God. Am I going to tell you there's one true way and you've got to pay attention to that? No, I'm not going to tell you that. Never, ever am I going to tell you that. But here's what I think the truth of God is. There's a lot of religions in the world that are telling you what God is. Okay, if that's where you're at, if that's where you want to be. But I think what is in each of us is what a lot of people call the higher self or the divine self. That is going to tell you the truth about God. It has nothing to do with any organized religion. It has to do with who you are and your relationship to the divine. Okay, so that's the truth about God. And then in our awakening, we want a relationship with it, don't we? It would be very hard for me to know that something was out there, even if I didn't know what it was, and not want to get to know it. So that's the awakening. Now, if you move up into spiritual practices. Now, next video, I have a whole long list of spiritual practices. You're going to love it. But for right now, we're just going to talk about meditation and prayer. These are the number one spiritual practices. Well, in the top 5. Let's say in the top 5, because, if you're a pagan, you're going to want to get out there and hug a tree. So let's say in the top 5. So meditation is the act of listening to the divine. Prayer is the act of talking to the divine. And let me tell you something. I was reading something the other day and they said prayer is the act of asking the divine for things. Okay, in your magic, you will not be asking the divine for anything. I talk to the divine about those things that I am creating in my life, I'm using my magic for. I talk to God. I talk to spirit. I talk to the universe about my family, about the health and safety of my family and my friends. If a family or a friend is having an issue, I talk to the divine about that. I talk to the divine about guidance and clarity and direction for myself and for those who need me. I've embarked on this journey of writing and blogging and making videos. What do I need to be talking about? What message would the universe like for me to carry? So there's lots of things. There's lots of things that you can talk to the divine about. And if you are asking for things, that's fine too. But you're going to use your magic for that. That's what you're going to do with your magic. Okay. So that's meditation and prayer. And please don't be put off by the word prayer. We think of it as a religious word. In magic school, we defined prayer as simply talking to God, to the universe, to the divine. Okay. So the next thing is you're going to want to gain some knowledge. This is fun. This is fun on one hand, and on the other hand, it's kind of a pain in the butt. So we started Magic School. Rowan Tree Pagan Ministries started Magic School as a way to impart knowledge to people. You can read a book. You can go on YouTube and listen to videos. You can take workshops and classes from people. Now, the problem with gaining knowledge is there again. You're going to have to work with your own inner divine self or God self. And you're going to have to sift. And you're going to have to weed out the horse shit that comes with the truth. And you'll know the truth when you hear it, because your precious little heart will be able to to ring a bell or make you have a feeling, and you will know when you're hearing the truth. You will also know when you're not hearing the truth. So you know what to do with the knowledge. I don't need to coach you or tell you to be careful with that. You'll know it when you hear it. Okay. So, but you want to gather it up. This knowledge you want to gather. You want to have some knowledge. It's a good thing to have. Now, understanding, knowledge and understanding. Now, understanding is, I remember in the early days of me learning and reading and taking classes, and I had a teacher that I would go and meditate with. There was this idea that, oh, don't give that to that student because they're not ready for it. Who the hell am I to judge what you're ready for or not? But here's what I have learned. If I give you something you're not ready for, you can't hear it. Okay? So don't worry about that. Don't worry about having to go back and learn something over again. You read a book. It was a great book. You knew what that book was about. And then you left there and you couldn't remember any of it. Okay. So it could be that you just have short memory. It could be that you weren't ready to activate that knowledge inside of you. And that's basically what understanding is activating knowledge inside of you. Okay. Sometimes we read something and we're like, I have no idea what that is. And I move on. When I read something and I don't know what it is, I just move on. But I wind up sometimes coming back to it because I wasn't ready then. Now I'm ready. You're the only one who knows that. You're the only one who knows when you are ready for a piece of knowledge. So if we have this knowledge and this understanding, so what do we call that? The knowledge and the understanding. We call that wisdom, right? So you have knowledge and you understand, and you have understanding, and you combine that with experience. I mean, anybody can tell you, don't walk around back of this horse. Why? Because he'll kick you. Oh. But you forgot, you walked around back of the horse and he kicked you. Now you have wisdom. You have knowledge and understanding, and then you applied that knowledge and that understanding to your wisdom. Okay? Because you got to have an experience of that kicking horse. All right. So the next one is we start to work on our ego. And this is where shadow work comes in. Shadow work is where your spirit, your divine self, your higher being will point out, I don't want to say a flaw in your character. That's third dimensional wisdom would say that. Something that perhaps you're uncomfortable with, something about your personality or your character. Now, this is coming from your divine self. It's not coming from other human beings. Something about your personality or your character that you're uncomfortable with. Something about your personality or your character that you didn't even know existed. And the light that is inside of you will shine on this. And I'm not even going to call it darkness. Your ego is not dark. Your ego is your best teacher. Okay? So you have two entities inside of you. You have the ego and you have the spirit. Okay? The ego wants to keep you safe. When your spirit is like, okay, it's time to do some shadow work. It's time for us to get into this uncomfortable stuff inside of us and work it out. Your ego is like, no, it's safe here. We like it here. We're comfortable. That's when you know you need to jump out of that plane of unraveling this mystery that your spirit is pointing out to you. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Evolution is uncomfortable. There is no getting around it. So we have to start working on balancing our ego. And the way we balance our ego is we listen to what makes the ego uncomfortable, and then we go the other direction and we work with that. And as we work with these things, these situations inside of our character, inside of our personality, we become aware of what caused them. We become aware of what purpose they are currently serving for us, and we become aware of how to dissolve that situation, how to transform it into something useful, into something that will serve us and serve others. And by going through this shadow work process of balancing the ego, we get evolution out of it. We get evolution, we get growth and evolution out of it. It's a wonderful thing, not a comfortable thing, but a wonderful thing. Okay, so the next thing is gratitude. You always hear me say love, gratitude, and joy. Love, gratitude, and in gratitude, and joy. Okay, so in magic school, we defined love as being able to accept people the way they are, being attached to them, of course, because we love them, but not wanting to control them, not wanting to change them, accepting them just the way they are, accepting a situation the way it is for the moment. Love becomes a very high vibrational thing when you take all of the attachments off of it. You know, lots of times we will love a person if they behave the way we want them to. Lots of times we will love them if they have a certain amount of bucks in the bank, or we love them if they hold a specific job or some sort of status in society. None of this matters. None of this matters. It's like once you realize that every human being is here for a reason, even criminals, even the bad guy, they're all here for a reason. I don't want to be on the receiving end of what the criminals and the bad guys have to offer, but I get it. I know that they are here to work a path just like we are. So I love them. I love them. I don't want what they're offering, and I'm not going to put myself in unsafe situations. But I do get it. They are part of the grand scheme of things. So gratitude, we defined in magic school as a point of appreciation, 1 point of appreciation. So you wake up in the morning and you walk out on your back porch with your delicious cup of coffee, and the most beautiful sunset is coming up, and the air smells fresh and clean and cool, and you see a deer down there in the valley, and you just think, that's appreciation. That's gratitude. That's a moment of appreciation. Okay, so what I have here for gratitude is the process of developing gratitude, what it is, and why you need it to develop your spirit. Okay, now why this is so important is because love and gratitude are very, very high vibrational practices. You have to practice love and gratitude. You have to practice it. And the more you practice it, the higher your vibration, the higher your vibration, the higher your vibration. Okay? When you are in love, when you are in a high vibrational state of love, and you are in appreciation, you are in gratitude. These are high vibrations. When you are in those vibrations, you are not in these vibrations down here. You're not in a low vibration. These are the things you're focusing on. What is magic about? It's about focus. If you're focusing on every new illness that you have, and every new bump or bruise or scratch that you have every day, if you're focusing on this drama with these family members, you're down here. If you're trying to find things, and you are finding things to be in love about, to be in gratitude about, you're up here. Now, that's not to say this stuff isn't going on down here. but you don't have to focus on it. Do what you have to do about this and get back up here. So the next thing is joy. Joy is the end all to be all of all practices. Joy encompasses love and gratitude and every other good emotion. Joy, like love and gratitude, is a practice. It's a practice that will put you up here. Okay? You couldn't see my hand, but it was way up there. Joy is the practice of, remember how I said that gratitude was a point of appreciation? It's a moment. So joy is being in that moment forever. It took me, I've already told you guys this, it took me 9 months of pivoting, 9 months of interrupting a negative thought, interrupting a negative thought, interrupting a negative thought with something positive. 9 months before I started trying to change my default setting and bringing my vibration up. I thought I was this amazing, incredible, positive creature that I just exuded. I did not exude positivity. I thought I did, but I didn't. Okay. 9 months is almost a year. It took me 9 months of vigilant, constant pivoting to change my vibration. Okay. So, and we do that by love, gratitude, and joy. Okay. So, what else? So then, and this is important for you air signs out there, if you are an air sign, pay attention to this because you are largely in here. Okay? You are largely in your mind. I'm a Libra. I'm an air sign. So I'm largely right here. Thinking. Somebody says, oh, Ayla, what do you think we should do about this? And instead of me saying, well, I feel that we should do, I say, I think that we should do this. Okay. Now, the ideal environment, the ideal high vibrational environment for your magic to incubate, to hatch, to grow is an agreement between your heart, your sweet, divine heart that feels everything, and your incredible, amazing, logical, rational mind. I heard somebody say once, I don't like the word foolish, but I get it. I heard somebody say once that if we are ruled entirely by our heart, as a matter of fact, I think Swami Tai said this, if we are ruled entirely by our hearts, we are a fool. If we are ruled entirely by our head, we're a robot. We have no thoughts, we're a Borg, basically, for you sci-fi fans. So we really want to be in an agreement between our minds and our hearts. That balance is perfect. High vibrational environment for your magic. Okay, so the next one. There again. I don't know how long this took me. Surrender to the spirit. Now let me be clear about something because this hung me up. Surrender doesn't mean you're giving up. Okay? Surrender means that you're giving up how you get there. You're not going to give up your desires. Your desires are the most important thing to the universe, to spirit, to God. What you are creating in your life. Do you know why? Let me tell you why your desires are the most important thing to the universe. You came here to live. You came here to live your amazing, cutting-edge, monumental life. And it's hard, isn't it? Yeah. When we're on the other side, we're laying out this plan and we're giddy with it. because it's difficult. It's got a bunch of twists and turns. It's got a bunch of plot twists in it. And we love it. We get down here actually in it, and it's like, holy cow, what did I do? So the fact that you use your vibration or your magic to create a job, a house, the things that you need, healthy family and friends, you're living your life. You are living your life, and you're maximizing living your life with your magic. Okay? So surrender to spirit doesn't mean you're going to be like, I remember when I was a Christian teenager, and I remember the lesson of that God would basically make a decision for us. You know, so Henry over here wants that really cool red sports car. But the reason he didn't get that really cool red sports car was because God knew that he would take it out and kill himself with it. That is horseshit. Okay? If you want the really cool red sports car, create it. Create it. I'm giving you all the tools here. Look at some of the other magical channels. You can get all the information you need to be able to create whatever you want. Okay? So you're not, when you surrender, you don't say, thy will be done. Okay? You know what you need in your life. You know what you want in your life. You know what kind of work, magical work you need to do to create those things. Instead, look at it this way. Did you ever see the meme? Did you ever see the meme where the stick figure is on the bicycle and the checkered flag is way up here, and it says the universe's plan for your life? And the bicycle was going to go down hills and up hills and through the water and through all this grass and bushes and everything, and have to ride uphill again. Here's how it happens. So you're on the other side with your others. Your others are your angels, dragons, fairies, and guides, and every being that you contracted with to see you through this lifetime. They're sort of looking over your shoulder while you're planning your life plan, getting ready to incarnate again down on earth. And they know the plan. When you leave and you are born down here, you come down here, your others have your plan that you wrote stretched out before them. They know what you wanted to accomplish. They know what you wanted to experience. They know everything about what you wanted out of this lifetime. So if you sat down to manifest, let's say you want a big house. You sat down to manifest that house. Your others are going to be like, okay, yep, good. But we're going to go here, and we're going to do this, and we're going to go here, and we're going to do this, and we're going to have these experiences and learn this along the way. You're going to get what you want because your magic is just that powerful. Yes, it is. But your others have your plan. They know what you wanted to experience. They know what lessons you wanted to learn. They know all of the little obstacles that you wanted to experience along the way of getting that perfect house for your family. So when I finally arrived at the place where I could surrender, I was very hung up on the idea of surrendering because I felt like if I surrendered, I was giving up my desire. And I know that the gods and the universe does not want that from us. They do not want us to give up our desires. They want us to manifest our desires. And so I couldn't surrender. And then I don't remember how it clicked, but one day it clicked in me that I'm not giving up what I want. I'm giving up how I get to what I want. There's a path that I need to take to get to that thing. Okay, so that is the realization of surrender. And also getting into the flow. In order to surrender and get into the flow, you have to get into the flow of, and that's letting the universe take you wherever it needs to take you to get to your desire. Okay. So, getting in the flow can be kind of hard sometimes. It was hard for me. Okay. And so then, there's the realization of the higher self. Now, one of my students asked me one time, do we have to do these in order? No, 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 no. You may start with the realization of the higher self. You may walk head first into that first thing and then do all the other ones. Another student asked me, if we don't get it the first time, can we come back to it? Of course, of course. The universe is such a kind and patient teacher. You get to come back to it as many times as you need to. Okay. So the higher self, you already know what that is. We already talked about that. This is the higher self, the divine self, is the realization that you're God. You are made out of God goo. Therefore, you have divine intelligence inside of you. This is tied into your intuition. This is tied into the choices that you make. This is a wonderful thing. And we'll do some meditations later that help us get, we don't want to become the higher self or the divine self, because we want to live. We're down here in this fixed three-dimensional vibrational world, and we want to live our lives. But we want contact with that aspect of ourselves. Okay, so then the next one is the development, and there again, you may already have some of this, the development of your psychic abilities, your ability to heal yourself, and your ability to manifest your magical projects. Okay, the higher you get your vibration, the higher you get your vibration, the more these things are going to develop in you. Manifesting, healing, and your psychism. Okay. Now, the next one is full consciousness. Now, full consciousness is kind of a fifth dimensional type of, I don't know, so what I have written here is you have knowledge of, in full consciousness, you have knowledge and awareness of all incarnations, all of your incarnations, all of your timelines, all quantum realities, all knowledge of all lives, your purpose, okay, your divine life purpose, and you are fully connected to your God self. All right. Okay. This is very, very, very evolutionarily advanced. This I think that everybody can have some of those to a degree. I think that everybody can have some of those to a degree. You may not be fully in 100% into each one of these. And the reason that I'm kind of throwing the brakes on with this is because we really don't want anything to happen to us that's going to impede us living our lives. Okay? You came here to live. You came here to live with all of its goodness and all of its badness. You came here to live. You came here to work out these issues and to struggle a little bit and to learn how to create pleasure and joy for yourself. So, yes, I think that I have awareness of a few incarnations. I have never been interested in knowing about my past lives because I figure I got my hands full with this life. Timelines and quantum realities. Now that goes along with the idea that we have several different realities running at the same time. Okay, and this is how we get stuff done, because in the grand scheme of evolution, we want to get our evolution done. This taking one lifetime at a time is the long way around. Okay. So yeah, I think you can have some knowledge of that. Um, all knowledge of all of your lives. I don't know. I don't know about that. Your purpose. Now that's a big one. That's a big one. Getting in touch with I would give up all the rest of those to know my divine life purpose. Okay. Now your divine life purpose doesn't have to be the job that you're getting paid for. Okay. I taught magic school. I'm a high priestess. I help people learn how to heal themselves, and I'm doing that. I did that on a grand scale earlier. Now it's kind of shifted a little bit because we had the little COVID come in and disrupt everything. So now I'm doing this sort of teaching, and I'm blogging. I just finished my first fiction story book. That's out on Amazon right now. I can pretty well say this is my divine life purpose. I'm enjoying this creativity very much. Okay, so that's the very top. So it looks like this on my paper. Okay, it's going to look a little different in the description. So those are the two things, the two clusters of things I wanted to talk about in this video. This video is going to be released this evening, and then we'll have two more things in the next video. We're going to talk about spiritual practices, more spiritual practices than just meditation and prayer. And then we're going to talk about, can you see that? Okay, we're going to talk about the emotional guidance system. So I'm going to say this now, and then I'll say it again in the next video, that your mood is determined by your feelings and your emotions. Okay, your feelings and your emotions are what creates the vibrations for your magic. So if you wake up in the morning in a really bad mood, that's not a very good place. Okay, it's not a very good place for your magic. Now, you may not have control over your mood, because by the time you get to the mood part of the equation, you're basically just going to have to ride that out. But what you do have control over is your feelings and your emotions, even some really severe feelings and emotions. So that's going to be the next video. So we are going to talk about that on Wednesday. And that's all I have to say for today. So blessed be.